Hi everyone, I'm Habil. I started my work in the IT field as a WordPress developer and transitioned into the role of a project lead. I've been working as a project lead for some time. Now in 2024, my aim is to transition into the data science field. I want to become a data scientist. So I've been ongoing 3 months boot camp for transitioning into the data scientist role. Apart from learning all the theory based or machine learning algorithms and other stuff, I'm practicing with some projects. It's better to actually learn with doing some real projects because whatever you learned will be implemented in a real world scenario. So it's better to learn through projects. I'm here to showcase a project. The project is based on the PhonePe Pulse GitHub data. Before I get into the project, show you the project, I want to give you the brief of the project, what it's about. The project is based on the PhonePe Pulse GitHub data. You might know PhonePe is a UPI, like financial transfer application that is used in India. They have made their data public, or all the transaction data, the user account and everything, so people can actually go into their data and get insights on how the UPI and what's happening in that industry. Actually, the project is inspired by the PhonePe's own website. I'll show you the PhonePe Pulse website. So here, just go here. This is a PhonePe Pulse website, and then have like explore data page where you have the payments and insurance data, and this is a overlay of a map, and you can take a look at all the data and just interact with the dashboard and get whatever data you want. Right sidebar, it shows the transactions, total transactions that has happened, and the total payment value, average transaction value, and the merchant payments, different categories. So through PhonePe, people are using it for different purposes. The merchant payments, peer-to-peer payments, that's between the users, and for recharging and bill payments, other financial services. And they're given like a top 10 for the states, districts, based on the postal codes. And you can also go into like transactions for users to users. So this shows the user count, and this one shows the transactions. And you can also go for like different year and different quarter based on that year. It's a great dashboard. I think it's built on JavaScript or something. Project was to build something similar to this, not as hardcore as this. So yeah, let's get into the project. Why I'm doing this video is I uploaded my project into the GitHub, but unfortunately I was not able to post it on the Streamlit. I've used Streamlit to do the dashboard because the project is done on Python. The project couldn't be hosted on Streamlit because I used MySQL server, which is actually like hosted locally. So if you want to make it hosted online, I will have to switch into a MySQL server, which is available online. Just take a look at the project. You will have to like clone the GitHub repo and run the scripts. So I thought I'll give you an overview of the project and how it looks like before, so you can decide if you want to or just pull my GitHub repo and develop on that, or you can just take a look at my project and give feedback on what can be done better. So the first step of the project is to like clone the GitHub repo of the PhonePe Pulse data. If you want to take a look into that, you will go to like the data API page in the PhonePe Pulse, and it gives an overview of what the data is about. You have aggregated data, the map data, total values of the state and district level. Aggregated data actually has like data on transactions, insurance, users, and everything. The map data has data on the state and district levels, and the top data has like totals of the top states, districts, and postal codes. It has more in-depth data when going from aggregated to map to total. So if you want to go ahead and clone the GitHub repo, or you can find it here. Just click the open and it just takes you straight to the GitHub repo. And the GitHub repo actually has like very detailed documentation. It clearly explains the data structure of the data, all the JSON file structure. No, so just jump into the code. I'll walk you around through the code. So I use PyCharm for the Python projects with Streamlit and dashboard and stuff, because it actually automatically creates a virtual environment when you're making a new project, and it's better for Streamlit projects. And PyCharm also has like all the plugins and everything like built in. And also, if you're using PyCharm and you're dealing with an SQLite database, you can actually install the data viewer plugin in PyCharm, and you can just open a DB file easily and check that in the PyCharm itself. For this project, I'm using the MySQL. So for the MySQL, we have like the workbench. That's one advantage of using MySQL over MySQLite. Actually, they meant for different uses. MySQL is used for like bigger data, and SQLite actually handles like smaller data. Like MySQLite is made for IoT devices and a lesser amount of data, but it's easier to handle and everything. And it's very lightweight. So if you are using MySQL, or you can go into MySQL Workbench and get a graphical interface. You can look around the tables from the database, and you can also like interact with the SQL from this dashboard. So it's convenient. Going into the code, first we'll have to run this data extraction script. So what it actually does is that takes all the data from the cloned GitHub data. It goes by JSON file to JSON file and extract that data, and using pandas, it creates a dictionary and labels every data and make a list of dictionaries. So after that, it's actually like converting all of that data into different CSV files and pushing that CSV file into MySQL database. So there is, between the conversion and the MySQL database, there's a save point, which is the CSV files. As you can see here, the aggregated transaction data, your aggregated user data, and these CSV files, they are later pushed into the MySQL database. So first, you will need to run this script, and it just converts everything from that GitHub repo, the data we cloned from the GitHub, and convert it into CSV files and push it into MySQL. And you can go on to the dashboard.py, where the Streamlit and all the everything that's happening in the Streamlit is actually like happening in this script. So there is like this state map dictionary which I had to make, mainly because when you're displaying information on a map, you need a GeoJSON file for that. So I couldn't find a GeoJSON file for India, like in a proper GeoJSON file. The ones available were of total Asia. So I got a GeoJSON file through a YouTube video, and it directed to another website. I got it from there. But the problem was the state names in the PhonePe dictionary and the GeoJSON file weren't matching. So I had to create a different dictionary by mapping them together, so that would work. So that's this. If you're wondering what the GeoJSON file is, that's what GeoJSON file is. It actually contains geographical data, and this part actually handles all the Streamlit functions, like having like 4 different pages and all the functions that need to be run in different pages, all the inputs and the drop downs, sliders, everything, and the visualizations. Visualizations are made with Plotly, mainly because I like how the Plotly visualizations look. They're like very polished compared to other visualization libraries. Enough of the code. I'll show you around the Streamlit application. That's what you're here for. Just run that script and run dashboard UI. It's gonna take some time, I guess. I also used the cache function in the Streamlit to make the data load a little faster. So uh, when you're having like GeoJSON files, the data loading time is gonna take a lot of time. Caching actually fixed that. It actually creates a cache on the Streamlit dashboard and just loads it up in very fast. As the default home page, we have the overview page, which has some details about the PhonePe company and about this dashboard. And after that, we have like two visualizations, which actually like show you an overall growth of how everything is going with the PhonePe. So the data contains from the first quarter of 2018 to third quarter of 2023, and below that we have the user growth. So as you can see from these two visualizations, PhonePe has been like growing in terms of the transactions, total transactions, and users have like steadily over the year from 2018 to 2023. Then we go to the next page, which has a transaction analysis, where you can actually like sort of play with these drop downs and the slider and get specifically what you need. So you can like filter it on based on the states. You can go by state, take any state, and you can go by year. You can go by all year or a specific year, 2020 for example, and you can go by quarter. You can go by like first quarter, second quarter, whatever you want, and you can go by the transaction type filter, right? So we have like four different transaction types. So recharges and bill payments, peer-to-peer transaction, merchant payments, etc. And it show you the total transactions and the average transaction amount. And this visualization is for transaction count by type. So it only works if you give the transaction type to all. So you can see this is the data uh, for whole India in the year 2023, the first quarter. And you can see the peer-to-peer payments are the highest, and the second one is the merchant payments, then the recharge and bill payments. So you can filter out the transaction data through in multiple ways in this page. Next, we'll go to the geographical insights. When I first made it, it was taking more than 2 minutes to load. After that, I implemented the caching mechanism. Now it's loading pretty fast compared to the old one. So this actually like gives the hovering functionality. So there's this India's map, and you can just hover through state by state, and there is this legend which actually shows the data. So the yellow colored state has the highest amount of transaction, and the lowest one will be like a dark blue. All of the districts have actually billions and trillions of transaction amount. So this is like relative to that. So the highest is Telangana, and the lowest would be like Andaman and Nicobar Islands or something. And you can also go by year by year. This is the first map is shown for the whole data set, the whole timeline, and you can go by year, 2018, 2023. It also like zooms in and out. The best way to actually look into this data is by going full page. You select the year and go full page, and it actually works really good. We get into the next page. Next page, we have the top data insights. It's how like it uses the top data. So this has the top 10 states based on the transaction data, and it also has not the top data, the least 10 states based on transaction amount, total users, and volume. So if you want to look at the top 10 states with the highest transaction amount, there's like Telangana has the highest transaction amount, and then comes Maharashtra, then Karnataka. If you want to look into the list, 10 states, you'll see Lakshadweep has the lowest one, then Mizoram and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. That's the same for total users. So in the total users, there's actually in the total transaction, Telangana was the highest in the list, highest ranking in the list. But when we come to the total users, Maharashtra has the highest total users among all the states. And you can also go to least 10 total users, and Lakshadweep is in the bottom as usual at the last. And you can also go by transaction value. Also, the Maharashtra has the more transaction value, and Telangana has third highest transaction value, but still has the highest transaction amount. That's an interesting fact. And obviously, the least one will be Lakshadweep in all categories because it already has the lowest amount of users and also the lowest amount of volume. And so it will have the lowest amount of transaction amount. It's based on the population. The population also affects this data. So that's it. So you can just play around with it and get a lot of insights. Not as great of a visualization as the official PhonePe Pulse website, but I think it's very good. So for the future, I'm actually thinking of adding more questions in this top 10 list and making the UI better. Right now, I actually like placed 4 buttons in the sidebar. It doesn't have a uniform size. So I want to make the UI a little better for the sidebar only. The UI elements is looking fine. So the main thing I was focusing on was the functionality. There's actually a lot of scope for future development in this project. Like you can bring in the insurance data. Insurance data hasn't been tested for this project, and you can go deeper into like the district data and all other stuff. I'll give the link to my GitHub repo with this post, so you can just go on and based on this what you have seen, you can decide if you wanna fork my GitHub repo and pull it. If you're making any useful developmental changes, you can actually like push it back, and I'll add it to the main branch if it looks relevant. As for this project, I've learned cloning a GitHub repo and Plotly visualizations using the MySQL database. I implemented some elements with sidebar in Streamlit. I've learned about the caching system in Streamlit. So if you have any feedback, good or bad, I'm happy to take it. Don't hold back. And if you want to use my GitHub repo, you can use that. So this is like this was a walkthrough through my PhonePe visualization project. So I'm really close to completing the third project, and I'll be making a video of the third project, and hopefully I'll be able to host the third project on the Streamlit. So you can just directly go and interact with the dashboard because I'm using SQL Lite for the third project. I think that's it. I hope you like the project, and thank you for your time. I'll see you soon.